Beijing, Taipei, Washington. 3 capitals, 1 fault line. The Taiwan question.
I'll tell you, you have a very similar thing with President Xi of China and Taiwan. But I don't believe there's any way it's going to happen as long as I'm here. We'll see. He told me, I will never do it as long as you're president. That's President Xi told me that. And I said, well, I appreciate that. But he also said, but I am very patient, and China is very patient. Say, well, that's up to you, but it better not happen now.
On August 15th, US President Donald Trump told Fox News that Chinese President Xi Jinping had given him a personal assurance. Beijing would not invade Taiwan while Trump is in office. A statement aimed at calming nerves in Washington, but in Asia it was received with skepticism. Just days later, Beijing's foreign ministry struck back. Spokesperson Mao Ning dismissed the idea that Taiwan's fate could be negotiated with outsiders. Her words were blunt. Taiwan is an inalienable part of Chinese territory.
中方在台湾问题上的立场是一贯的、明确的。台湾是中国领土不可分割的一部分，台湾问题纯属中国内政。如何解决台湾问题是中国人自己的事情。我们愿意以最大的诚意，尽最大的努力，争取和平统一的前景，但绝不允许任何人、任何势力以任何方式将台湾从中国分裂出去。
For Beijing, this is not a debate, not a discussion. It is a statement of fact.
台湾是中国领土不可分割的一部分，不存在所谓的海峡中线。解放军为台岛周边开展军事活动，天经地义。合理合法。民进党当局吹嘘所谓情况尽在掌握，不过是自欺欺人。台独毒瘤一日不除，解放军打毒促统就一刻不停。
But Taiwan rejects that claim. The island sees itself as democratic, self-ruled, and sovereign.
当前的印太地区，其实地缘政治面临了严峻的挑战，特别是近年中国屡屡挑战。以规则为基础的国际秩序，而且严重的破坏了民主、自由、人权、法治，甚至于是公平贸易。而这也让国际社会有所警觉。目前有越来越多的国家以军舰通过台海的方式，这些实际的行动来强调台湾海峡是国际水域，展现出对印太地区安全稳定的重视。
Beijing sees it as unfinished business, and China is not just talking, it is moving. On August 16th, Taiwan's defense authorities reported 57 sorties of Chinese fighter jets circling the island in just 24 hours. 38 of them crossed the so-called median line in the Taiwan Strait, an informal boundary that for decades kept tensions contained. Beijing now denies the line even exists. China's defense ministry declared there's no such thing as the median line.
台湾是中国领土不可分割的一部分，不存在所谓的海峡中线。解放军为台岛周边开展军事活动，天经地义、合理合法。民进党当局吹嘘所谓情况尽在掌握，不过是自欺欺人。台独毒瘤一日不除，解放军打毒促统就一刻不停。
The message is clear. Taiwan's space both in the air and in the sea is shrinking. Spokesman Jiang Bin from China's defense ministry spelled it out. PLA operations around Taiwan will not stop until separatist forces are eradicated. His words were chilling. Before the tumor of secession is removed, Chinese fighter jets and warships will keep pressing in. So what's really happening here? For Beijing, reunification is not just about territory. It is about history, legitimacy, and Xi Jinping's political legacy. In Chinese Communist Party doctrine, Taiwan is the last piece of unfinished Civil War business from 1949, when the defeated nationalists fled to the island. Every Chinese leader since Mao has sworn that Taiwan will return. But under Xi Jinping, the timeline feels tighter, the rhetoric sharper, and the military maneuvers bolder. For Taiwan, the stakes could not be higher. Its democracy, its way of life, even its survival as a political entity are at risk. Taiwan's leaders insist they are prepared, but they know the balance of power is shifting. The People's Liberation Army is now the world's largest fighting force, and it trains for one mission more than any other: a Taiwan invasion. Amphibious landing drills, missile barrages, cyber war simulations, the playbook is rehearsed. But here's the paradox. For all of China's strength, invading Taiwan would be a monumental gamble. Crossing the Taiwan Strait means exposing forces to US and allied militaries. Taiwan itself is heavily armed with advanced missiles, naval mines, and an island geography that favors defenders. A failed invasion would be catastrophic for Beijing, which is why analysts say Beijing's real strategy today is grey zone warfare. Push the envelope, send jets, ships, balloons, exhaust Taiwan's defenses, normalize Chinese presence until Taipei finds itself encircled without a single bullet fired. Meanwhile, Washington sits uneasily in the middle. Officially, the US follows the One China policy, acknowledging Beijing's claim but not endorsing it. At the same time, the US is Taiwan's biggest arms supplier and has promised to help the island defend itself. That ambiguity is deliberate. It deters Beijing without handing Taipei a blank check for independence. But as US-China rivalry deepens, from trade to tech to the South China Sea, the Taiwan Strait has become the most dangerous flashpoint. A single miscalculation, a single mid-air collision, a single stray missile could set off a spiral. So what does the future hold? In the near term, we can expect more of the same. Chinese jets crossing median lines, Taiwanese radars lighting up, US destroyers patrolling the waters, a tense dance choreographed by mistrust. Long term, the options narrow. Xi Jinping has made unification central to his vision of national rejuvenation. Taiwan, led by the Democratic Progressive Party, shows no appetite for compromise. The US cannot afford to look weak in Asia. And so the question is not whether tensions will continue, but whether they can be managed without war. For now, Trump may have his personal assurances from Xi, but history shows in the Taiwan Strait, promises are fragile and power speaks louder than words. One island, two governments, three great powers, and a question the world cannot escape. Is Taiwan's future one of dialogue or invasion? With Debangana Datta, Bureau Report, India Today Global.